Well, good morning to one and all, and thank you, Turney. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank all of you all for being here this morning. And let me start by saying it's just been an incredible honor to have a chance to work with the Center for Interfaith Relations on this year's festival. It's the first time I've done this, and I can't tell you how impressed I am by not only the organization, but also its relationship to the city. I live in San Francisco, but am born and raised in this amazing town. And so the perspective I have is interesting to me in that I come and go from Louisville. And every time I come back, I am more and more impressed with the incredible energy that is going on in the city. And just want to echo what Turney said, which is that it seems that something doubly special is going on thanks to the leadership provided to us by our mayor. And it was really thanks to him that we decided that something ought to happen when word got out that the Dalai Lama was going to be coming to Louisville this May. And the question was, well, what can we do? The mayor's charge was we need to do something very special. We need to make the city appreciate how special this is. And so we at the center put our heads together and realized that there was an opportunity to shine a very bright light on the connections that Louisville had to the Dalai Lama already. And it seemed the biggest opportunity was to focus on specifically our adopted son, Thomas Merton's connection to the Dalai Lama. So as you can see from the poster to my left, we have decided to really call out the meeting that the Dalai Lama and Thomas Merton had just weeks before Merton would die in 1968 as the sort of theme, really, of our festival and the sort of orientation around our thinking with respect to the programming. The question I have been asking myself is, why are these two men so happy? If you look at that picture, there is clearly something good going on. Those are genuine smiles coming from seemingly very genuine people. And it's a question that has intrigued me personally for a long time. And so we thought, well, let's try to get to the bottom of that a little bit. And that's really what our program is attempting to do. It's a big deal, not a small deal, to have the Dalai Lama coming to town. And so our program this year is leaning a little bit more deeply than it has in the past into the space of contemplative practice, specifically, and all of its expressions, but also a little bit into Tibetan Buddhism. The idea is if we could create days that really inform Louisville on sort of who the Dalai Lama is and what is it that orients his thinking, that will make our time with him all the more valuable and deeper. So we've said to ourselves that in many ways our program is to prepare the city for His Holiness's visit. And we don't know when he'll come back. So we want to make a very big deal about making sure that every minute that we have with him is time that we actually get the most out of. I probably need not remind this audience that this is a Nobel Peace Prize winner. And I also would like to say that I think the center is doing its very best attempt to actually listen to the needs of the community, to listen to the needs of this city. And it is plain to me, in my best effort to listen, that the city of Louisville has so much good stuff going on and also needs as much help as it can get from people like us. I'm reminded, of the what I'll just call out as the East-West divide. They're two very different cities when we're really honest about what's going on in Louisville between the east side of town and the west side of town. And I think it's interesting that these two men are in a way an expression of bridging an east-west divide. And I'm hoping that this festival, like past festivals, can be utilized to really get at the heart of what is that divide in our city, and how is it affecting us, and what do we want to do about it. And so the theme of sacred silence, I think, is a powerful one, because what we're saying is sacred silence is the pathway to compassion. So if compassion is important to us in this city, and I feel sure that it is, how do we do it? And I think the mayor has actually asked all of us to consider this question. And so our first response is, well, one way to do it is to look within. And that's really what a contemplative life is about. That's what a contemplative practice is about. And to do that well, silence is very helpful. So that's sort of how the name has come together. And again, I'm very, it makes me very happy to think that the results you get from this sort of work put smiles on your face. And we also should remind ourselves that these two men were both monks. And one thing you can say about a monastic life is that it's quite simple, meaning it's not a very expensive proposition to be a monk. It's actually a very efficient, very economic proposition to be a monk. And actually, you don't even need to be a monk to live a simple, practical life. But if a simple, practical life can provide this kind of happiness, maybe we ought to be talking about that a little bit more. And maybe that's the sort of thing that can help bridge divides like the ones that we've faced in this city and are currently facing. So it's extremely exciting. It feels like we have an amazing opportunity to have conversations with each other and not have conversations with each other, which is to say to be silent with each other and see what happens. And I will also say that I think people within the community will take notice of what we're doing, and I think people beyond this community will take notice of what we're doing. You all should know from my point of view in putting the program together, the minute I mentioned to people who've never been to Louisville that we have a mayor in this city that's seriously talking about compassion, I had sold them on coming here. I mean, it was that simple, you know. And in some cases, I didn't even have to tell them about the mayor because they'd already heard about the mayor. So people are paying attention to what's happening in Louisville, Kentucky, and all of us need to know that because it's real, and it's something that we can use, I think, to encourage ourselves to keep going on this somewhat unusual path, but extremely exciting path. Let me talk a little bit about the program. We have really just a top-notch program, which is now online at our Festival of Faiths .org website, also within the folders before you. We really, I think it's absolutely safe to say that every one of our presenters are top people in their fields, in this case all fields that are connected to major religions and faith communities. They're coming from all over the world to be here, and some of them have been here before. Many of them are recognized as great spokespeople on behalf of contemplative practice and the most pressing spiritual matters. Among them, we have the beloved Richard Rohr coming. I call him out specifically because I think it's a name that may well resonate with a lot of people who know him already. Returning also will be, I should say, is Matthieu Ricard. I call him out in part because he was lovingly received on his last visit here in 2008 and is thrilled to be coming back. Both of them are great contemplatives in their own life. Matthieu Ricard specifically has been doing a lot of work on the science, what I'll call the science of silence. So what happens when we do this? What's the effect that it's having on us? And he's going to be on a program with Dr. Jim Doty, who has looked into this in an extremely serious way, and it turns out there's an awful lot to say on that matter. There are those that are even getting to the place where they believe contemplative practice can actually affect your DNA. So it's a really big deal, not a small deal, to be able to kind of shine a bright light on these topics as it relates to us thinking about the future of our city and how we would like to sort of think about these things. We also want to definitely call out our great appreciation of being able to partner with DGI and all the various activities that are happening through their program, and also specifically to call out DGI's outreach to youth and all the expressions, including the work of Amy Peterson, who's here today, and the ongoing work of the mayor's office to engage youth. And we have specific youth programs that we hope will be very meaningful. It's extremely wonderful to have Superintendent Donna Hargens here today. Thank you very much for coming. I know that you are engaging actively in this conversation, and that too, I should tell you, I probably need not tell you, is really national news and beyond, and it's extremely inspiring that you are taking such a leadership role in this conversation. I think that mostly gets at, well, there's one other very important thing I need to say. None of this program would be happening were it not for the co-programmer, who oddly enough is right now in the city that I'm often in, which is San Francisco, and that's Gray Henry. We somehow just had to be in different places on this day, although regretfully, and Gray has been, as many of you know, just an incredible leader, both with CIR and well beyond in areas specific to contemplative practices. And she has been just an amazing ally and co-programmer with me, and we're both extremely excited about being able to announce this to you today.